Hello everyone, I'm Kibin Alleyne and today is Tuesday, September 24th. You are now watching Open, a program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to you. Don't forget to stay connected with us via social media at BronxNet TV. Dedicated to supporting wellness and prioritizing mental health, Rahul Maharaj established Your Trauma Talks as a space for healing. The upcoming mental health conference is designed to further assist individuals on their journey toward positive and healthy well-being. Rahul Maharaj now joins me to delve into the details of this initiative. Rahul, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and I'm actually very excited to talk about this because, as we know, mental health affects everyone. And so, with that being said, I'm curious to know what sparked your interest in exploring mental health.
Basically, mental health, what sparked my interest is basically the traumatic journey I have been throughout my life. And one of the things that opened my eyes basically is that the things that happen among people within my circle throughout my years. And I see them go through different mental health things, managing especially of their mental health daily. My eyes actually opened towards mental health when I ventured to India in 2017, and I saw others treating others badly. And then I realized that people needed to speak out. This haunted me until 2018. So I decided I needed to let people be able to tell their stories and be able to be heard, as well as others to hear and know that they are not alone and they can overcome as well.
Now, you mentioned telling stories. What role did storytelling play in your life growing up, and how has it influenced your perspective on sharing personal experiences, especially in regard to mental health?
I love that because storytelling, I'm a Hindu, born Hindu, but I'm very, very spiritual, as my new book is coming out within the next couple of weeks or month. It's called Believe My Spiritual Journey. Now, I'm a Krishna devotee. As I said, I'm a Hindu, but also I went to Bible school. So think about what stories we heard when we were kids, the Bible stories, the stories of Sri Krishna, as I'm a Hindu. And stories teaches us to be who we are if we actually listen, but also stories of raw things that I heard growing up. When I was growing up as a kid, my mom would tell me the story of a girl and this guy who was in love. And one day he comes and he makes a joke in front of his friends, in front of her. She takes her flip-flops off and slaps him in front of his friends. He goes home, he commits suicide, he drinks poison. So think about this. As a kid growing up, you're molded into a way of the raw truth, and a lot of people, it's hidden from them right now. So telling your story, especially the raw parts of your story and your trauma, will actually connect and resonate with you. Something I say out of my speakers at the conference, something that they will tell that will hit you deep inside, and you will be like, hey, if Ra can do it, if Kibin can do it, I can do it too. And that's why we need to hear stories, and it has played an important part in my life.
Now, I want to highlight one of your stories, and that's with your book, Melly and the Pandemic. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, Melly and the Pandemic is like basically my labor of love, I would say. Melly and the Pandemic, I wrote this within maybe a few weeks. But actually to create this and to go through it, it basically took almost 2 years. Melly and the Pandemic is not, and I'll put it this way very nicely, it's not just a girl facing a global pandemic, but also it teaches about empathy, togetherness, the bond of family, friends, the people in your circle, to recognize that when you should be there for each other. So it tried to help kids especially connect and open that understanding change happens, especially with uncertainty. So, I mean, I really went deep into it, and it's not just a book for kids, but it's for everyone, for adults and everyone alike. And again, it teaches about change, which is something that people most of the time overlook, because change is inevitable just like that. Because every single day, life changes. Your life changed from when you were an infant to who you are today.
Right. Now, with that, I want to talk about, because you mentioned it's not just for kids, I would say it's a family-friendly book for, any age within the family.
Right.
How do you touch on, certain themes that may be hard for some younger audiences to understand? Because if we're being honest, sometimes it's even hard for adults to understand. So how do you tackle that challenge?
Well, what helped me to handle all these different things was creating a character called Jerry the Doctor. You would see him here. So I was able to connect with people through Jerry. Basically, within the book, you learn about resilience. You learn about empathy. The caring, as I said, the love, the bond that within family. So just as Jerry again, I created this guy as an animated series within the book. And from him, how great it is, I was able to spin off a story on Jerry the Doctor that's releasing this year. And if you see this book, it's like straight off of Disney. I'm not tooting my own horn, but that's how much work I put into it. But it's the lining of a story, the shell of his story, whereas people can understand. As I said, the themes was basically all about resilience and change within how everyone feel, how they connect, and I had to fix the colors to match because of mental health. That's why it took a lot of time. Make sure the fonts don't connect that a child. We have so many children with special needs, and you open it and something would trigger something. You don't want that. I didn't want the colors to coordinate into the wrong direction, so I had to make everything to connect with every single person who opened the book. Like, if I hand you the book and you open it, I am sure you will feel the love and everything that was poured into it.
And just hearing you talk about it, I can tell so much effort was put into it. And I want to say that I also appreciate, you have another book here and we have this one, that there's something for everybody, because mental health, as I mentioned in the beginning, is for everyone. And sometimes we often don't really think about younger children and how change could be affecting them as well. So I just want to say that I appreciate that you put effort into kind of acknowledging that there's a space for everybody when we talk about mental health. So I definitely wanted to say that.
Thank you. And also to touch on it a little bit about Jerry the Doctor and creating that little atmosphere, I created a song because it was between spring, summer, winter, because there were 3 different waves of the pandemic and the virus, right? So I wanted everyone to feel the feeling. I actually wrote the book in 2020 in winter, in November. And let me tell you, I created a song that Jerry would sing for the kids. Hey, hey, it's a beautiful day. The sun is out, won't you come and play? So Jerry brightens your day. That these children is looking at this animated series. Right. And from him, not just I wrote his book, I actually created an animated series that I want to release, that I scripted already and everything just ready to go. It's just all the animation. But it's always about, and anyone, as I said, because you hear, I sent you an email this morning with my nephew, how crazy he was. My nephew, the first thing, calls me this morning to go like, Uncle Ra, are you coming by me for Thanksgiving?
Oh, that's so sweet.
Right. So I sent you that video that resonated with the book. When he got this book for Christmas, he went crazy like, oh my God, it's Melly in the pandemic. I have 2 other kids that read this book and all they keep asking is, Ra, when is the part 2 going to come out? Because I ended it in a very nice way. So it has so much more that you can go into depth with helping a lot of kids and everyone.
That's amazing. Now, I really want to talk about the mental health conference. Yes. Can you just tell us, what can people expect when they interact with this?
Okay, well, the mental health conference, even mind-blowing. Your trauma talks. It's my little TED Talks. I don't want to get sued for anything, but this is what I created, a safe space for people to come out and talk their stories. Where on my poster, you will see all these amazing speakers that's coming in from Canada. A keynote speaker, Yannick Sadie. She's an author as well, and she talks just recently. We have a post on the New York Wire, and she spoke about people need to speak out. You see, speaking out, too many people just stay in silence, and they don't be heard. And this is one of the main things about it, to connect with others, to let them know you are not alone. And that's one of the main things that this conference is going to bring together.
Now, what advice would you give to somebody who may, feel hesitant to start, their mental health journey? I know it can be a big step for a lot of people, but that first step is so important. So what advice would you give to somebody who's kind of struggling with that?
See, like, when people tell you, right, you should join the gym, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But if you push someone too much, it will become overwhelming. You don't want to do that. My way of telling people to look after their own mental health is not just telling them to make a nice meal for yourself, a healthy meal which will line up perfectly with your mental health. Taking small steps in fixing your own mental well-being, taking time out for yourself, especially because you take 5 minutes. People tell you, oh, you need to meditate. How? People ask that question when so many things is happening in your mind. But connecting with yourself, your God, the universe, whatever gives you that peace inside, starts with a little step of helping your mind be at peace of who you are within, to help your mindset to start getting into the right place of either doing exercise, yoga, as I said, cooking the right meals. But managing your mental health daily, completely different from different disorders. Now, if you have a therapist, if you have a psychologist or psychiatrist, continue doing your therapy, continue taking your medication. Nobody is saying no. But I'm talking about different, like daily mental health management. You have times, in the conference that's coming up, we have so many different topics. And one of them is trauma at the workplace. You think about you, the place that gives you that dollar to pay your rent and pay your bills, and you resent going to work because of different things that happens daily at work. So these are the things we want to show that, hey, listen, you can overcome this and have a different total mindset with everything that comes together.
Well, thank you so much. Can you quickly just let everybody know where they can go to learn more and how they can actually be a part of the conference?
Sure. You can just scan the QR code. That's on the screen, right? We're going to have it on the screen. Mm-hmm. You can scan the QR code and you can get a ticket. It's on Broadway at the Theater Center. And it's actually, you can find us on IG, Your Life Experiences with Ra, YLEWRAH.com, everywhere like that. You want to find me. And it's Rahul K Maharaj. You Google me. Okay. I'm all over.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your journey.
And thank you so much for having me. It was amazing.
To learn more about your Trauma Talks Mental Health Conference, please go to the website on your screen below. We'll be right back.